What is up, diecast collectors? This is 9446 Network, and it is a very special day here on the 9446 Network, because today we're going to be taking a look at our first next-gen diecast on the channel. The first ever next-gen diecast, and for the first time since, gosh, 2008, 2009, 2011, 2012, 13, that we get an EL mold promotional diecast, and this is the one we got today for the next gen. Check this out. Here's the Charlotte Motor Speedway 2022 next generation Toyota Camry, and it absolutely is going to be a sight to behold on the channel. A next gen 164, and it is a Toyota Camry TRD. And yes, this Camry is different from the last Camry, more than it is just a next-gen car. But we are going to take a look at it and look at the details of the car, would you? Look at the new wheels, the new body, the new chassis. This is going to be a journey to behold. So let's get this car out of the package. For the first time, you're looking at it here, folks. For the first time on the channel, we are going to be looking at a next-gen car. Man, this is amazing. Here it is. Oh my goodness. I cannot believe I'm holding a next-gen car in my hands. My goodness, folks. This is going to be an exciting video. As you can see, I'm giving you guys a 360 view that this is real. This is not fake. This is not a custom. I did not buy this from Dollar Tree. You are actually looking at a next-gen diecast. How incredible is that? So let's take a look at the mold. Well, we'll look at the mold after we look at the diecast, the paint scheme itself. 2022, then you got Camry, which is, this is the same Camry as it's always been since 2017, at the front at least, but it's on the next gen mold now. Doesn't look like they're using any different sticker package for the headlights of the Camry. With the other two, the Chevy and the Ford, you might see that. So you got Coca-Cola 600, Charlotte, USA, very nice looking logo right there. Still looking for a sponsor for that next diecast race at Charlotte that's coming up. You got K&N Sunoco right there. You got Goodyear, NASCAR Cup Series, NASCAR Race Car. Got a little bit of a coffee stain right there. You got May 29th, 2022. And yes, I did attend this race. And did not pick up this diecast until like 2 weeks after, which would be now. About 2 weeks after, not exact. You have number 22 right there. You have the Charlotte Motor Speedway, then you got Toyota, www.gospeedway.com, Coca-Cola 600 right there on the rear quarter. You got Toyota Camry, America's Home for Racing, Charlotte Motor Speedway, the three little stars next to the Toyota logo. And of course you got 22 right there, the giant spoiler. And don't let Dale Earnhardt Jr. see this, because he will throw out there his Talladega comment about the wing. Let's see, Charlotte Motor Speedway. No roof sponsor on this car. So without further ado, the paint scheme, we're not going to spend too much time on it because I want most of this video to be dedicated to explaining what the mold is like. But for the paint scheme, to break it down for you, it is pretty much a patriotic design for it. Basically, it starts out with the black splitter, the black spoiler, and then it has a red wrap because the paint itself is white, as you can see. And yes, the side skirts are black, and they might always be black, because down here would be where the exhaust port is. And yes, I'm gonna have to find, when I do customs, a decal that goes for that exhaust port right there, since that is not a plastic component, that is part of the die-cast body. And of course, the Toyota TRD trim, which, by the way, let's get a closer look at that. I know the Toyota fans are gonna point this out to me, about how that's different from last year. That's a Toyota trim back there as well. And of course, the little rear fin. That is going to be a difficult decal. I do not know if that's going to be on the customs for this year, for my customs. But yeah, we have that going on right there. We got the exhaust port coming out towards the front. And of course, we have that little piece that is cut off right there, because that is where the exhaust is. And on the real life car, that is also accurate, because the pipes originally they had coming out from the back, and now it's to the front. So the pipes would go like from here to the front, as you could tell. This is a Dallara chassis that made this car, as you could tell. And of course, the paint scheme is pretty obvious that it is patriotic. It's got some patterns to it. It's got the stripes, and it's got the gradient checkered pattern, for those of you who care about the paint scheme. But of course, the back is blue. Let's just take a look at the mold. That's what I want to dedicate this episode to. So, let's take a look at the front here. Now, compared to last year, I know the diecast does it have the little lifted part? Because on the real life car, that splitter should be pushed in a little bit. Okay, it kind of is. See, like those two pieces right there. The splitter, as you can tell, if you look at it like that, it's more obvious. You can tell it's kind of pushed in on the front, and the reason they did that is so you could see the ride height of the car. I know it's you can barely tell, but if I get closer enough with the camera, you can very much tell that that splitter is a little bit lower on the corners than it is for the middle part, so you can see some of the ride height to it. So that's new for the next gen car. Now the hood does not have the hood vents because they are going to be decaled on the decal package for the cars, meaning I have to do a decal for that too. You have cow flaps on there, which do look a little bit different. They kind of have a different style to them. You got a bit of hair on that roof flap, that cow flap right there. So yeah, not much to say about the cow flaps. The roof flaps, as they should be, are on the top of the car. And of course, as I had brought up before, the exhaust ports on the side. All of this on the real life car would be like a carbon piece that is on the chassis. Like, it would shoot out from the inside of the car. And speaking of the inside of the car, let's look at the undercarriage. So, 3, 2, 1. That's all you got under there. Just a Lino Racing, made in China, Toyota trademarks. And yes, EL mold. We have not had an EL mold promo car in such a long time. This is the first one in a long time that has been made on the EL mold. We've always got it on the PTC mold, but this car, they went all out, man. They knew they had to impress people with it. So not really much to write home about the chassis. As you can tell, it is very flat. And of course, the diffuser underneath the car. The rear diffuser, and of course this piece is cut off because of the rivet right there, but in real life that would be a full rivet. I wonder how dirt diecasts are going to work, because they would have to take all of this off. But for now, this is what they got. And if you look at the diffuser, it sticks out from underneath the car. So if you guys remember the Generation 6, it was a fuel canister that was underneath there. The little fuel box. Now we are looking at a diffuser that is underneath the car, which is kind of like a sports car. That's how it is nowadays. And of course, you got the bits of it, and of course, you got those 4 little things that stick out. And that's basically what is scraping the track. And as you can tell, here's the rest of it. And of course, you can tell that even the chassis buildup of the diecast is also different. As you can tell, these things that used to be open right here are now closed up completely. There used to be a little gap here and a gap here, but now it is closed up completely. And the only opening that I see would be off to the sides right there. Now for the rear, however, this is a new thing. So if you look underneath the car, that right there is hollow. And if I take, if I take like a screw right here and point to it where it is, those little pieces right there are open right there. So I could literally stick something in there. I could stick a toothpick in there, an ear cleaner. These are now hollow. So instead of the front having 2 little hollow parts here and here, now it's just here and here. And you can tell the body of that car, there's really not a lot of support on the diecast itself, which I'm going to assume that this is like the real life car, that these 2 pieces are open right here, as you can tell, right there. But yeah, really not much to write home about the chassis. It is completely flat as compared to last year. All the mechanical components are now inside of the diecast. And of course, the inside of the car, and of course, you guys remember that window net controversy with Ryan Blaney. I'm getting really flashbacks of that looking at this next-gen car's window net. Now, the inside of the car, I would assume that they would have put the new dashboard, but it does not look like they did that. I'm gonna have to get a closer look. It doesn't look like they did that. It just looks like it's the normal Gen 6 one. It might just be close to the same, maybe to cut costs. But it does look like they changed the shape of those 2 bars back there that are behind the rear quarter windows. As you can tell, it looks like that has a different shape. If I can get closer enough inside of the car, as you can tell, yes, you can tell that it's differently shaped. I will compare this to a Gen 6 car. I will do that. Of course, you got your 4 rolling Goodyear tires. And let's get a look at those. You got a, what is it, an 18-inch rim, 19-inch rim with the single lug. Now, you won't really notice it that much with the diecast because NASCAR diecast for the 164s have always been single lug, you know, for the guitar string that's holding these tires together for it to roll. And I haven't roll tested it yet. You will see this car being tested for the Flash Racing Cup Series Season 4. But you can see the rims are BBS. As you can tell, if we can get a closer look at them, that the rims are on a different mold. And of course, the inner liner is gone. Now it's just pretty much air, because when you have a bigger rim, you can't really hold that much pressure. Now it's more, you're relying more on the air and the rubber of the tire. So that is probably why we're having the tire issues on the real life cars. But yeah, there's no more inner liner on the rim. And of course, they are a lot bigger rims. They're about 18 to 19-inch rims compared to the 15-inch wheel with the inner liner. So yeah, those are the BBS rims. Very Hot Wheels-like, obviously, because they kind of run rims like this. Most of the Hot Wheels cars do run rim types like that. But yeah, BBS rims, really, really cool. I really like BBS rims. So it's really cool to see that on a NASCAR stock car. I wasn't sure about like having these type of wheels at first when they were announcing the next gen car about like 2 to 3 years ago. But now that I've seen it on the diecast and on the real car, it's not so bad, as you can tell. And of course, the one thing, before I get to the rest, this mold is very, very good. This is A+, alright? I'm happy with the mold. Lionel has always done a fantastic job with the mold. Now, the decal issues, you might see maybe like 1 or 2, but other than that, it looks like they have stepped up their game. I don't want to jinx it yet, but the quality does look a lot better. Not perfect, but not bad. I would give this like a 95 for quality control, which is really not easy nowadays to get. But, you know, the quality control is pretty fantastic on this car, unlike years past. So we are getting somewhere with that. I want to look at the rear quarter window. I know there's a piece of decal paper there, but it's not really a big deal. It doesn't kill the thing. I want to get a closer look. I don't know if each of the manufacturers' OEM's rear quarter windows are going to be all on that long mold, and then they get the shape of the rear quarter. It'll just be a sticker. It kind of looks like a mold. I think they molded out the Toyotas. Now, the Chevys and the Fords, I can't tell you if they did that or not. So, it looks like they're still working on the molds. Maybe if I look like behind, I can probably, let me see if I can get the light inside of there, so I can tell. It might be, okay, it looks like it could be molded out. I'm pretty sure it is molded out. So for the Toyotas, these things are molded out. Now the shape of the car, this is where I'm going to compare this to last year's car. I'm going to go grab a next gen car, or a Gen 6 car, I should say. I'm going to go grab it really quick. Alright. Let me take a Toyota. Okay, now we can kind of compare. So, here. Okay. So, let's take a look at both. The next-gen car is a little bit taller. If I just try to line up the wheels, it does look like it could be tall. Let me set it to the ground. Let's see how they sit next to each other. It could be a little bit taller, and it actually is by just a little bit, as you can tell. Now, the shape of the car, this is why I brought the Gen 6 car in, because I do want to show off a couple of those things that they changed. So the front end, not really much to write home about Toyota-wise, but obviously no more of that, like, lip that stuck out on the Gen 6. Now it's every car has a long splitter, as you can tell. Cowl flaps are, obviously, the shape is now a little different than the Generation 6. And the roof shape, the shape of the roof is a little bit different. Let me see if I can really get a close look at that. But as you can tell, the whole front windshield mold is different because, yes, the windows are differently shaped. the dome of the car is differently shaped. We don't have window printing on the promo, but that's because it's a promo. But as you can tell, that's differently shaped. It's more taller towards the front. Very Supra Xfinity diecast mold-like. Let me see if I can get the... Okay, there you go. So you can see the rear quarter window shape also has been changed a little bit. Obviously, for the next gen, but, you know, it is changed. As you can see, the roof line kind of slopes more up. This car, the Gen 6, it kind of like round slope, but it looks like the Gen 7 is sloping up a little bit more, and the roof rails stick up way more on the next gen. The roof is smaller, as you can tell, by a couple inches. Maybe a couple for the 164 at least. Yeah, that roof is definitely way smaller. And of course, the back windows are much bigger, way bigger. And of course, the rims, there's the 15-inch wheel on the Gen 6 and the 18-inch rim on the next gen. As you can tell, very different looking wheels. And of course, the biggest change, arguably, now you have a black chassis to match the black Gold Series roll cage. Now, I can't guarantee you that the Authentics, that this will still be black. I'm pretty sure that's going to be changed to white. Not that it would really matter that much to me anyway if they did that. But as you can tell, no more of seeing the undercarriage detail because it is all covered up by a giant carbon fiber. This is going to be fun to paint for customs, that's for sure. I know I'm going to be painting my undercarriages, as you can see right there. No diffuser, like I said, this was the fuel cell from last year, and then there's the Gen... Wow, they really changed this car. As you can tell, very much different. And of course, the rear end of the Gen 6, as you can tell, they skewed it out a little bit more on both quarters. Mainly, the left rear quarter was shifted to make the car turn better. That's why the rear is skewed that way. To make the cars harder to turn either or direction, for obviously better racing, you have a symmetrical design. You're not running asymmetrical. You're running fully symmetrical fenders on this car. And of course, we have the hips of the car, as Philip Torres likes to call it, of where the wheel well sticks out, as you can tell. And of course, the shape of the car, obviously, is now fully symmetrical. And that's really the comparison. And of course, that was the Gen 6 era that is going to run the final races of the Flash Racing Cup Season 3. This is what will be running Season 4, these type of cars. So that was a long video, I get it. I just wanted to make sure I was comparing this right. But as you can see, that is a next-gen diecast for the 164. So here's the front of the car. Here's the hood. Here's the right side. Here's the back. Here's the deck lid. Here's the roof. Here's the left side. And the undercarriage of the car, the chassis, which is all covered up by a giant carbon fiber Dallara chassis. So thank you guys for checking out this diecast review. What did you guys think of this next generation car? Which next gen diecast are you excited to pick up? Let us know that in the comment section. And oh yeah, by the way, this pillar here is now a piece of plastic. Well, it had always been a piece of plastic, but it's a much bigger piece of plastic now. And of course, the little fins right there. And of course, to get biofuel, they're starting to biofuel these cars. And they got American ethanol on the old one. Now, the one thing I will point out that I wish they did not do with the next gen. You guys know that I like to make custom diecasts, right? So for years, I've had to pry them open because I had a drill, but one, was not comfortable doing it, and two, didn't have a lot of experience. And three, it was a lot easier to just pry the car open. See how the front had like those little two openings? Now it's from the rear, and from what I'm seeing on the rear is that there's not a set spot I can yank at the chassis to pull it out. Meaning that, yes, I would have to undo it with a drill. Now, thankfully, good news, I am working on getting better at my drill skills and my tool skills. But I still wish that they made this with the screwdrivers. And let me explain to you why. Okay, so when you undrill these cars, I don't really know if it's a guarantee that it'll roll the same again. Now, we were lucky with the Cesar Torres car, but I would still rather this here. I'll show you. I would much rather this, where they're riveting, this needs to be a screwdriver. It is much easier for any kid or any person that wants to start making customs to stick the screwdriver, righty-tighty, lefty-loosey, to remove it. Because this here is going to be difficult for younger people that want to do customs. And I like to get my customs finished in a timely manner. So that right there is a problem. Okay, I wish they would do this with screwdrivers. It would be so much better. And if in a bad situation, if the car were to have a bad error with the rolling tires, that could be easily fixed if you use it the screwdriver. Now, whoever owns it, if there's an issue with the wheels, which I highly doubt there ever will be, with the next-gen car, but let's just say something does happen. You should make this a screwdriver to make this easier to take off. Because now I have to get the right ball to undo this. And mistakes do happen. So I really wish they did this with the screwdriver. It would have been much better to do that way. You know, the righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. That's the way it should have been done. You should be able to take the car apart that way and not have to undrill it. So yeah, that's the only thing that I am not too happy about. Other than that, it's a beautiful car. It's a really good mold. And really good tires. And it looks like the decal quality has gotten just a bit better. We're getting closer to where we need to be with that. Okay, so I'm happy. I'm going to give this thing... I would give this mold... I mean, this is really the first one I've done. Make it about like a 95 out of 100. Very good job, Lionel, with this. I gotta say, very good. Let's try to make all the diecasts look this good. I don't want to have any inconsistencies, I meant to say. And, of course, the roll test. Here's a Gen 6, which sometimes we get a wobbly chassis like this. This rolls like a dream. Look at that. Oh, man. Flashracer Cup Series Season 4 is going to be fun. We're going to test this car out. We're going to have the first driver, Simon Torres, will be testing this car out. And hopefully I will be able to test it out. Even as a Chevrolet driver, I think I will be able to test it out. I will be able to do it, hopefully, and then, of course, you know, any other Toyota driver next year. Simon Toyo Sports, that's going to be the new name, so this is going to be their car. So, Simon Toyo Sports, this is your very close-up of the Camry. Now, the Chevy and the Ford, I don't know when and if we'll get any more promos for that. But, you know, I do like it. It's a good car. It's a pretty good toy, and I'm saying it's a toy because that's what it is. It rolls pretty good, so... there you have it, folks. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Definitely comment, like, and subscribe for this. You know, I didn't spend the $12 for nothing, so... thank you guys for checking out this diecast. And by the way, they're not all going to be $12. I'm pretty sure this is going to go back to $8 for the Gold Series, the normal. And the box, yes, is a bit taller than the original. I'm going to get an original, but like every time I want to end the video, I find something different. I could be going crazy, and it's not. But here is the package type, and it seems to me that this is a little bit wider, or longer, I should say. And the blister of the box is also a bit different to accommodate to the changes of the next gen. Here's what the blister looks like. I highly doubt a Gen 6 car would fit on here the same way. It still fits, but it's a pretty awkward fit. It's definitely more fit, of course, to the Gen 7, what it was made for. So, yeah. Okay, really, that is really it, guys. So, thank you guys for checking out this video. Comment, like, and subscribe so that you guys can see more diecast reviews. And, of course, 2022, next gen. Let's get it rolling. So, thank you guys for checking this diecast review out. Comment, like, and subscribe, and we'll see you guys in the next diecast review. And always remember to make sure you know what you're doing when you're putting decals on your diecast.